Okay, we're up to Daf Samech Beis, Amid Aleph. So we in the sugya. Yeah, I have the recording on. Okay, I'm just saying we'll take it away. Why don't we? Awesome, right? And I'm Aretz. We choshit.
And I'm recording.
Those girls.
That's why you want everybody live.
Start again.
Yeah. The halacha of Amaratzim. Yes, let's make that preface.
Yeah.
The halacha of Amaratzim is that since they're not nisa v'tumah v'taira, so if they touch dough, that it's tameh, right? So let's say in Amoritz, this is Amoritz is he wants to do the right thing. He doesn't know how to do the right thing, and he wants to he gives his dough to chavet to go ahead and be and to separate and to separate the challah. Go to separate challah. It's too late because once it's already in the state of dough, it already is tameh. So we want to know. We're trying to figure out an eitzah for this well-meaning Amoritz, how exactly to go ahead and be mafresh truma. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to begin on we're beginning on Samech Beis Amid Aleph. So Hayed Rabbi Yossi ben Hamishulam Mishum Rabbi Yochanan, right? Mishum Rabbi Yochanan Achiv Shama Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Chisma. Ein oisen chalas Amoritz b'taira. You can't make the challah of an Amoritz b'taira. Aval oisa isa schulin b'taira. You can make the isa of chulin b'taira. As you could take the chulin that you could make b'taira. The noitel imenu kidei challah, and you could take from that challah. Umeinicha b'kapiso b'anchusa, and you could leave it in a kli, some type of kli that's not b'kabel tumah. Ukeshaba Amoritz litel, when the Amoritz comes, noitel eshteihem, he takes both of them. Ve'ena chayshes, right? And you're not chayish, and you're not chayish. So therefore, by challah, seemingly you can't make the dough, but in this before in the state of chulin, before it gets mixed together, that you could do. Let's see Rashi here. Einoisim chalas Amoritz b'tayra, 3 lines down. Amoritz shamar legavel chaver, and Amoritz says to a gavel is a person who needs. He's a kneader. He's a kneader chaver. Hamafish challah meisasai, to be mafish chalas from mayisa v'oisaisa b'tayra, and do it the right way. Lo yishama lo, you don't listen to him. You know why? Already at the point when he handed over the isa, the dough, it already was tameh. And the kohen is samich on this kneader, shu chaver, v'yisaver she'achala tahira, and he thinks that the chal is tahira. In other words, he's going to get a stempel on this, right? That you know what, it's good. So therefore, he doesn't do it. He doesn't separate him because he'll give it to a kohen. The kohen will say, where'd you get this from? We'll say from this chava, this gavel, and he'll say, he's a fine fellow. Not realizing that the Amoritz touched it be'isa, and therefore it's tameh, and therefore it's chayiv misa b'dei shamayim for eating it. Aval oisa tchila ha'isa b'tayra. First, you can make the isa b'tayra. Rashi just says the avloisin isa schulim b'tayra. You know what it means, guys? You make the dough. You make it. So once you make it, then, in other words, if he comes to you at the beginning of the process, before it's mukhshel kabel tuma, and he gives you the ingredients, right? And he says, go ahead and mix this up and make me, then you could, because that's not a problem. And what do you do with the dough? You put it in this kfisha banchusa, which is some type of kli that is not makabel tuma, and you're not chayish when you give it over to the Amoritz that he'll touch it and be metamed. Good. And the Gemara is going to ask why. Guys, you got it? So in other words, this well-meaning Amoritz has a way of doing challah b'tayra, giving the nando, the wheat, before it's mixed together, to have the gavel mix it together, separate it, and to ensure that the Amoritz doesn't touch it, put it on some type of special kli that's not makabel tuma, and you're good to go. And then he'll be able to give it to the kohen. The kohen will be able to eat his matnas Manaskuna of okay, that you can do by chala. The ain oisa truma zesa b'taira, but to separate truma from his naisim, from his olives, b'taira, that you can't do. Aval oisa zesa chulin b'taira, you can go ahead. What we'll see what this means in a second. Aval oisa zesa chulin b'taira v'nitli menekdei truma u'menicha b'kela shel chava u'kishvay amor slito noitla shteya min achoshes. Okay, so now, what's happening? What are you doing over here? What does it mean you can't make the truma of zesa b'taira? In the process of making olives, they in the process of making olive oil, they would take the zaysim and they would turn it over in the bad into the olive press, and the presser, right, who's a chaver, cannot separate truma at that point, because previous to that, similar to the dough being mukhshel kabel tuma, previous to that, before they threw it in the vat, it was in a kli. And in that kli, it was sweating upon each other. And at that point in time, it already was makabel tuma. Just like the dough was makabel tuma from the Amoretz, so to the zaysim when they were in the vat, before you dumped it in the press, was makabel tuma when he touched it. Because why? Because the olives, they heat up each other, they lie in each other, and they ooze out, and they get wet. And therefore, Yisrael set up. So it's the exact same case in Lomdis, just different mitzias. One is speaking about challah, and one's speaking about truma, and the same issue. So if it's mukhshel kabel tuma, because already it's been in the ma'aton, in the olive vat before you turned it to the press. On the other hand, aval oisa zaysim chulin b'taira, before, in other words, if he just gives them zaysim before they go in the vat, then you will be able to do it. Good. Now, and he puts in the kalim of who? Of the chava. Now, this would appear to be a big kula, correct? You have an Amoritz around Tyrus. Again, one has to be a bit of a chava, a bit of a knowledgeable to be nisr and tumah v'tayra. This would seem to be a very big kula that we're allowing this well-meaning Amoretz to go ahead and separate truma by the olives and challah by the dough, and say it's not tummy. V'tayim amai, Rabbi Yochanan mishum kedei chayav, the gavel mishum chayav the bade. In other words, these are professions, and in order that they should have work, again, you mean they only can serve chaverim? No, they should be able to serve everybody, able to make a few bucks. So kedei chayav, in order that the gavel would make a few bucks, in order that the presser will make a few bucks, we're makel in Linyan Ha'aretz with certain guidelines to permit it. Guys, are we good so far? Yes, we're good so far. Now, why do you have to tell me two cases? Why do you have to tell me the case of the gavel and the case of the bade? It's richa. Diashmin and gavel mishum b'loy nafish igrade. It's not such a. You know what? They don't make so much money, so therefore you'd have to increase the volume. Abu bade the nafish igrade. He makes a lot of money. It seems to be a well-paying profession. Aimaloy. It's because it's only during the pressing season. How you don't have it doesn't kneaders the year round. People are always eating bread, but how often are you making olive oil? Only it's seasonal, right? So therefore, even though he gets paid a lot, since it's seasonal, I want to increase the amount of pressing. So good. Okay, now that's the brisa. Now Omaman. Now we go back over to brisa and explain one of the difficulties. Omamar. Noitali menu kidei so again, the chaver is making the dough. The chaver then is what is separating the challah, and the chaver is putting in a kafisha banchusa, as I touched, some type of kli that's not mekabel tuma, and then you give it to the Amoretz, and we're not chayish that the Amoretz is going to be metama the challah. Ukesheba Amoretz lital noitel shteyem, it takes both the dough and the challah. They ain't a chayish that he's going to be metama the challah. Dilma Nagaba. Why aren't we scared he's going to touch it? Says Gemara, Daminale, Chazi, be aware, Inagasba, if you're going to touch it, Hajul Tivla. So we tell him a bit of a fib. We tell him if you touch this, you know what? It's going to go back to being Tevel. So in other words, he doesn't want to go through the process again. So therefore, we give him a heads up, right? If it goes back to being Tevel. And for the Gemara, Hashla Kunika Machavin, the guy in the first place wanted to do the right thing. He came to, why did he go through the whole process? He wanted to do the right thing. So Zicha, he'll care if you tell him you're going to go back to the original state. So that's the heter over here. Why? And Nachayish, because you tell the guy, if you touch this challah, it's going back what to original state. Amamar, now the Bais is going back and explaining the Truma by the Zaysim. Amamar, Noitali menu kedei Truma, umeinicha bekelev shel chava. You go ahead and you take kedei Truma and you put in the kalim of the chava and the kalim of the chava, guys, right? In other words, you're not putting in the amaretz, it's clear, you're putting the clear of the chava. Ukesheba amaretz liti al noitel ashteyem, ve'ena chayshesh. Right, the Gemara v'leichish tilma nagaba. Let's be chayish that maybe the amaretz will touch the olives truma. Bishleima hasam islaya kera. Bishleima over there by the dough. You put it, guys, what in a kli that weird kli that kafisha ben chusa. You have a hecker. You have a recognizable difference that this is a kli that's not a normal kli, and therefore he'll recognize it and not touch it. But over here, my hekera isla. If you're going to put the oil, you're going to put the olives in a vat, the chayr, it's going to be a regular olive vat. Says the monach lebekli galolum kli avon and kli adam. No, it's not a regular one. You're putting in a kli made from animal feces, or a kli that's made from stone, or a kli that's made from adama. All of these not makabel tuma, but it's not makabel. It's not or. It's not sak. It's not what's the usual kalim that they make. It's not matekas, and therefore what you have a hecker, and it's not makabel tuma. Okay, so in both cases the kli is not makabel tuma. The case of challah, you have a recognizable. In this case, what it's not recognizable, but it's not makabel tuma. If it's a kli that's not makabel tuma, why did it have to be my area the chaver? Why did it have to be the kli of a chaver? I feel damaretz nami. Once the kli is not makabel tuma, why did it have to be the kli of a chaver? It could have been the kli avanim of an amaretz as well, right? Why did it have to be the kli of a chaver, like we just said? Doesn't hachinami kama hachinami. The kelim shel amaretz haroyim lishtamish kain chaver. We're speaking about the kelim of an amaretz that's roy for a chaver to use. Why is the kelim amaretz that's roy for him to use? Because it's not a kabel tuma. It's not a kabel tuma. It's not a kabel tuma. It's roy for him to use, and you're good. Okay, very nice Gemara. Not good. Okay, we had two dinim, but the cooler, one is the cooler kedei chayav, which would explain why it's in this parak. Tikkun oilam, darkish shalom, right? We're worried about pranasa over here. Do the right thing. In other words, the guy wants to do the right thing. It seems, it would fit in with the theme of this parak, right? It would fit in the theme of this 30 blot digression from the Masechta Gitin, right? Okay, now what did the Mishnah say? The Mishnah said on Daf Samech Aleph, guys, it's mashma. What are you doing? I'm looking at Samech Aleph and Aleph. It says, and you help the goy during the Shemitah year. It's mashma, you're working with him, right? You're supporting Yad Nachi b'Shviyas. Lo Yidei Yisrael, but not Yidei Yisrael b'Shayalim b'Shleimam, and you wish them well if they darker shalom. Okay, what does that mean? Mechaskinan Yidei Akum b'Shviyas. Mechaskinan, you means you help him. You can't hoe, you can't dig around a tree or any other or any other patch of land with an amaretz in the Shemitah land. So not amaretz, an akum, an ovid kachavim mazalis. You can't do any of that, right? So how could what's pshat? In koiflin shalom ovid kachavim. Nor can you repeat shalom to an ovid kachavim. You could say good morning. You don't have to say good morning. Good morning. Like it doesn't mean you actually, when it says michaskinan in our Mishnah, guys, it doesn't mean you're actually working with him. It means achsuke ba'alma. L'memrelahu, you tell him, go get him. You tell him, you say, go get him. You give him a good little pep talk, but you don't go ahead right and help him. He heard Rav Yehuda amalahu achazuke, he would say, mechazik you. Rav Sheshes amalahu, Rav Sheshes says, ashrata, strength to you. You would say positive things, but you would not go ahead right and, in fact, help him. Okay, you say mechazik them. The Brisa said you don't say double to a guy. In order to ensure that, in other words, you meet the guy and the guy would greet you, you don't go ahead and if you beat him to the punch, you don't have to say it once. So Rav Chisda would be magdim and say good morning or shalom aleichem, right? rather than have the guy say it to him first. And Rav Kahana Amar Shalmo Lamar, he would say Shalmo Lamar. Rashi says Shalmo Lamar. Says Rashi, "V'leichoyi miskabim lebarchoi," and your kavanah wasn't to bless him. Ella liboy hoyi l'rabbi. Shalmo lemar. Lemar means the master. Which master? The Rabbi Shloim means the Rabbi Shloim. Let's see the bottom Tosfos. Shalmo lemar. Pirish b'kuntrus leichoyi miskabim lebarchoi. Ella liboy hoyi l'rabbi. It's Sarach Ian Shleichoyi b'zeh goyniv das abrius. Isn't it? Is it going to be das? Yachina Pirish came like Kamar El Dein Kaifim Leishalom. Well, he's just simply saying that he would say Shalom Lamar if you say it once. You do in Blusha Rebbe, when the book the Hasidic tells of the Holocaust, it's a must read if you haven't never read it. It was in those days they didn't it was in the 70s. There's still the Holocaust survivors weren't talking, and there was this professor in Brooklyn College, Yafa Eliach, and what she did was for the course you had to interview a Holocaust survivor, and she had interviews and she put it in a book, and it's really a fabulous bunch of interviews. And she interviewed the Blusha Rebbetzin, and the Blusha Rebbetzin told the story about the Blusha Rebbe. Blusha Rebbe would get up, he would walk, and he would pass by a field, and there would be a Volkdeutsch. He was a German that was living in that country, and he met him and said, good morning. He said, good morning, and the guy would answer, good morning, Herr Rabbina. And he would say, good morning, and he said, good morning, Herr Rabbina. He would every day. And then we fast forward, the war breaks out. Blusha Rebbe finds himself in a camp, going through a selection. He looks up and he says to the German, good morning, Herr Rabbina. And the German looks up, good morning. And the German looks up and goes, good morning, Herr Rabbina. And he saved his life. He took him and he spoke to him, and he's asking about his family, like how are they? And he goes, they were all killed. He goes, how could that be? The German, on a personal level, you're a person. Like all of a sudden, how could that be? But you did it. I mean, how could that be? I mean, no, but I'm saying once it's personal, you're not a Jew. It's like it's amazing. My son told me the same thing. He works with Goyim. Said, don't you feel anti-Semitism? He goes, they're all anti-Semites on a cloud, but on a personal level, you're a different person. And he saved his life because good morning, Herr Rabbina. He would say, good morning, good morning, Herr Molla. His name was Herr Molla. He goes, good morning, Herr Molla. He would say, good morning, Herr Rabbina. Unbelievable story. Good morning, Herr Molla. He said, good morning, Herr Rabbina. And that's what happened. He said, good morning, Herr Molla. He said, good morning, Herr Rabbina. Okay, anyway. B'shalom b'shleimam. Okay, we did that. Says the Gemara. No. B'shalom b'shleimam, you could ask their goodness. We just explained the Bryce, now explaining the Mishnah. If you can go ahead and give them a chizik, certainly you can ask them how you doing. Even on the day of their chag, right? You can go ahead and say shalom aleichem to them, and you're not chayshish that what they're going to go to the local temple and say, thank. We're going to the beginning of Avodah Zarah, that they go ahead, even the day of the Yom, that they're going to go ahead and thank their deity. Don't go in there. Matzah b'shuk. If he's finding b'shuk, you give it. You say shalom. However, b'safa v'rafa b'chavod rosh. It's like on your kippur. You just butter it. You don't right. Why? Because you don't want him going to his temple and thanking his deities. Rav Huna Rav Chisda Haviyasvi. Rav Huna Rav Chisda was sitting and Chalaf Azal Geniva came by them. Geniva. We met Geniva before. Geniva was was painting Marukva early in the Masech Daf Zayin. We met him Daf Lamed Aleph, and seemed to be a Talmud Chacham, but a very cantankerous fellow. One said to another, Rav Huna of Chisda, Gedoyle Amroyim, Nekim Mikhay, let's stand up. The Bar Ryan, who? He's a Ben Torah. Who's being made this? Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. One is being made on either one. They're being made on his Geniva that he was a man. Geniva Yotze B'Koiler, it says. He went out in chains. Amalahu Umekami Palga Nekim. A person says Palga about Pluk Machloikis. He's Chalik and Chachamim, like we saw in our Mukfa, but Daf Zayin, we should go ahead and stand up for. Before they had a chance to figure out to stand up, and out Geniva was by them. Amalahu Shalma Aleichem Malka, Shalma Aleichem Malka. Okay, that's why we brought this in. Amalei Minolacha D'Rabbanan Nikrim Malachim. How do you know we call Malachim? Amalu D'Chsiv Be Malachim Ulichu. So like double lashon. So Amalei Umanolcha D'Kfela. No, so I guess it's speaking there about Talmidei Chachamim. Umenolocha the kafim l'mishalme l'malchi. How do you say double on lu? Dam Rav Yehuda Marav. Minan shekayich mishalom l'melech shleman ruach lovshe es hamosai voice hashlishim l'rosh hashlishim l'ch l'David v'imcha ben Yishai shalom shalom l'cha. I mean, you have to go to the side, guys. On the side, you see the Masaras Hashas. You probably have it in a letter, and there it says shalom shalom. It says double. Right? You probably have a number. You have to go up. You see it? Amalei, let the midi, let the Gniv eat something. Amalu hachi Amar Yehuda Marav asalei laadam sheyitim klum ashitim machal veimasai shnema v'nesati yesa b'sratchum hemtcha v'had v'chalt b'savata. Okay, that's the Maisa. Hadronachan nizaken, hadronachan nizaken, hadronachan nizaken. Okay, we end 30 blot of Darkei Shalom, right? 30 blot of Tikkun Olam, and we're returning to our regular scheduled programming. Right, we're returning to what? To Gitin. Okay, we left off Hashalech get, guys. Raise your hand if you know what's a get. so we sweat a get, and the question was in shlichus, can you mevatel the shlichus? Right? Can you mevatel? Right. We know that you can, as long as it hasn't reached the jurisdiction of the woman. Right? As long as it hasn't, however, it reaches the jurisdiction of the woman. There's two ways to reach the jurisdiction of a woman. Either A, by the woman getting it herself, or B, by her shliach receiving it. Now, she can make a shliach le-kabbalah. By and large, a woman makes a shliach le-kabbalah get. Once the get reaches the hand of the shliach le-kabbalah, no longer can you go ahead and change your mind. It's already considered in her rishus. The Baal can make a shliach lo-hilacha. A Baal can make a shliach to go ahead and bring the get. And that's what today's daf is describing. The shliach leilach, shliach kabbalah, and an ability to be chayzer, change your mind whether you want to get divorced or not. So the parak begins. Ha'omer, if a man says to a shliach, hiskabel get zel ishti, be miskabel this get from my wife. Now, if you just stop right there, it's mashma. He's making this man a shliach lekabbalah for his wife. But we know, guys, zachan ladam shlei b'fanav ve'ein chavin. Receiving a get is a choiv. So he would be able to change his mind because it's not considered a positive thing for a woman to get divorced. She wants to be married, right? So therefore, even if he says the lashon is skabel gets el ishti or oichoylach gets el ishti, or bring this get towards my wife, in ratzalachsa yachsar, if he wants to change his mind, he can change his mind. So even though he said skabel gets el ishti, right? And in other words, it's not a schus, and therefore he can go ahead and change his mind. It didn't say halach, it says hoylach gets el ishti. Hoylach, right? Yeah, hoylach. Bring this get to my wife, right? Whether he said the lashon of Kabbalah or the lashon of halacha, either way he can change his mind because it's what? It's a chayv. It's a chayv. It's a chayv. Either way, it's a chayv. But isha sha'amra, if a woman says to a shliach, hiskabeli giti, be mekabel my get, in matzalach, and the husband gives it to that shliach, in matzalach soliyachser. If he wants to change his mind, he can't change his mind. Because why? Because this is a shliach lekabbalah. Lefikach. Since we say that he can't change his mind, amaloi habal, efshi shetiskabela. I don't want you to be mekabel for her. Elahoylech v'tein la. But bring it, in other words, bring it to her. So in other words, he's destroyed her shlichus as Kabbalah, and he made the shliach Kabbalah into a shliach lalacha. Says Rashi, 4 lines down. Lefikach, kivin the amaran, and yochel lachsar. Since you said when it gets to the shliach Kabbalah's hand, he can't change his mind. Ein le takon lachsar. He has no way of ensuring that he can change his mind. Elim kain. Unless amaloi habal lizesh asay shliach lekabbalah to the one who had been made a shliach lekabbalah, efshi shetiskabela liyos kiyada. I don't want you. It's not possible for me to accept you being like her hand. El shliach shalitehe. You should be my shliach lahilicha liyada to bring into her hand. Then, if he wants to change his mind, he could change his mind. That would be the difference, right? So a woman can make a shliach halacha, therefore he can always change his mind. A woman can make a shliach Kabbalah, and therefore he can't change his mind. if he wants to go ahead and be able to change his mind, he can turn the shliach lekabbalah into a shliach lehoilacha. The fikach, therefore, amalei habal, yefshish eskabala elohoilach v'tein im ratzalachsa yachsa. Rav Shimon Gamliel Oimer, afay meres tuli giti. Even if she says, "Bring to me my get," im ratzalachsa lo yachsa. Even if he doesn't say the lashon of kabbalah, even if she says lashon, right, even it's just lashon of tul, right. That's a lashon of kabbalah. Says Rashi, afay meres tuli giti lashon kabbalah. Who? Now you don't have to say skabel. Even if you say tul, bring me my get, that would be one lashon. Okay, we're going to focus on the second case, guys. The second case is oihoilach get zel ishti, right? He says, or bring this get to my wife. Oihoilach se get ishti. We had a Gemara earlier on Daf Yudalid, whether the lashon of hoilach, the person says, hoilach mon leploini shani chayev loy, bring this money to so and so I'm chayev to. Or hoilach is hoilach kischi or not? Is the lashon of hoilach kischi and the person's zeich and you can't change your mind? Or hoilach lav kischi and you could change your mind? That's going to be this. Now it was an abaya d'layivshita, guys. We weren't paishet the abaya where the hoilach is the lashon of kischi. Good. Again, bring this matana to my friend. Bring this payment to my friend. If hoilach is kischi, it's too late because the person already has been zeicha. Then you could change your mind. And the second case of the Mishnah, we're going to try to figure out and be paished that shaila. The second case of the Mishnah is the Baal makes a shliach lahilacha to bring a get. The reason why he can change his mind, she did not make him a shliach l'kabbalah. In other words, it's a regular guy. She's not a shliach l'kabbalah, and therefore he said hoilach. Therefore, he can change his mind. Hashavisi ihi shliach l'kabbalah. If she would have made him a shliach l'kabbalah, and he would say hoilach gets el ishti, ratzalachsa leyachsa. If he wants to change his mind, he can't change his mind. Shma mina hoilach kischidami. Shma mina. We hear from here that the fact that he can't change his mind is hoilach is kischi. That lashon of hoilach is kischi. Okay. Now, Rashi lo yachzer delay akri mishlichusa diyada. He wasn't oikar shlichus. Alma hoilach kischi dami uplukti beperakama. And it's a machlokes in the beginning of the Masechta. So if she says Kabbalah, he says hoilach. Good. He's not oikar it because hoilach is kischi, and therefore it works. Good. That's what the Surmari wants to be pushed to the Shaila. Says Merloi, I'll tell you, so then what's the Chiddush? Meaning, there must be a Chiddush over here. The Skabel gets the Ishti, it's the Chalei. And the Chiddush is the first case. In other words, fellas, there has to be a Chiddush over here. Look at me, guys, look at me. There has to be a Chiddush over here. What would the Chiddush be? If he says Hoilach to a Shliach L'Kabbalah, we don't view that as overriding the shlichus, but we view it as here, be zeiching it for my wife. That's a chiddush because we want to place it the lashon of hoilach. If you tell me that hoilach is lavkischi, hoilach is lavkischi, right? Then what's the chiddush? So the chiddush is the first case. Ha'oimis skabel gets el ishti. The first case, not the second case. So says the Gemara inside. That's the chiddush over here. Since the Baal is not a bar shliach l'kabbalah, afagav demata gita liyada lehavi get gita. So I might think it's not a get at all. In other words, guys, what did he say? Accept this get from my wife. He's able to change his mind. What happens if he doesn't change his mind? What happens if the woman gets it? She's divorced? Yeah. What happens if he says you're not a shliach and the guy would bring a get? What would it then be? So I would say the following.
You gave him the get and he said you're not a shliach?
Yeah. Would it be a good get? No. So you say a skabel gets zel ishti. Can he make a shliach Kabbalah? No. Who can make a shliach Kabbalah? The woman. So he uses the first lashon. His skabel gets zel ishti, right? So what would you think? And therefore, if the get gets to her, what? That's the chiddush that she says he's still a shliach, even though what? he can't make a shliach Kabbalah. The chiddush is that's still considered a shliach lahilacha. That's the chiddush. You would have thought, like I think I gave you a good example, right? You would think, take the get, but you're not a shliach. Hiskabel. In other words, I'm making you a shliach, but you're not really a shliach. Mashmalan, that's the chiddush. But ein achinami hoylech is lavkischi. Okay, kamashmalan hiskabel v'hoylech ka'amar. Be makabel and take. He didn't say, he said be makabel. Kamashmalan hiskabel v'hoylech ka'amar. Second line gets white. Tanan. Ha'isha shamra, the second part of the Mishnah. Ha'isha shamra is skabel giti. A woman says to a person, be makabel my get. Once it reaches the hand, he can't change his mind. My love, loishna akabala, v'loishna ahalacha. Whether what, no difference whether he said loishna on there's two cases over here. There's lashon of kabbalah and the lashon of halacha. So I would think that what it's going on back on. There's two things before the first case of biskabel and the case of what of hoylech, and therefore you can't change your mind. Guys, what? Right? What do you see? Look, guys, look at the Mishnah. Guys, look at the Mishnah. Hoy miskabel gets elishti, hoylech gets lishti. Those are two cases, right? Good. Now continue. Third line. Hoysha sham miskabel giti and ratzalach liyachsa. What now? What happened? What did he say? She said Kabbalah, and then he went ahead and said what? Here, take it or hoylech. Good. If hoylech is lav kischi, then she shouldn't be divorced, right? Ella must be hoylech kischi. Says well, it's a Kabbalah. It's only going on Kabbalah. It's not going on hoylech. Pashma lefikach imama loy habal yefshid shetiskabala ella hoylech v'tein la and ratzalach liyachsa. Haima de amar yefshi haloy amar yefshi and ratzalach liyachsa. Shma mina hoylech kischi dami. You can't change his mind. Says when dilma behelech. Maybe he didn't say hoylech. Maybe he said halech. Hoylech to take it. Halech is a lashon of. I think halech is more of a lashon of shlichus. Halech. What's the difference? The halech and hoylech. Like halech is. No. I don't know. So the Garis in the Mishnah not Halech, but Halech v'tein la. And there's Halech mi k'moshe amra. Halech mi mashma. No, it's Halech means to take it. Halech means take it like she said, right? And therefore she should shliach the Kabbalah. So if you say Halech in the Mishnah, so therefore it's not because of Kischi, but Halech k'moshe amra, like she said, like take it like she said. Okay, now, guys. Listen to this interesting shaila. Who makes the shliach l'Kabbalah? Who makes the shliach l'halacha? Can a man make a woman a shliach l'halacha? Can a woman make a man a shliach l'Kabbalah? In other words, does it have to be whatever you can do in the parsha? Shlucha shlan kamoso. So memela, what? Memela, since I can only make a shliach l'halacha, I can make a shliach l'Kabbalah. In other words, I can't be a shliach Kabbalah. So a woman will have to make a woman a shliach Kabbalah, and a man would have to make a man a shliach l'halacha, or lav dafka. You can switch. Oh no, but we're saying the following again. I could look at it this way. In other words, we know that in order you have to be in parsha of Gerushin, and Evid's not in the parsha of Gerushin, so you can't go ahead and make a shliach to makabel his what his shtar shichla. So say the same thing over here. Okay, so let's see the Gemara. So it says the Gemara, Ish pshita, ish habi shliach l'halacha, a man can be a shliach l'halacha, shekain bal moilech get leishtay. The isha habi shliach l'Kabbalah, a woman can be a shliach l'Kabbalah, shekain isha mekabelas gita, miyad baila, mekabel get miyad baila. Ish l'Kabbalah, ish l'Kabbalah, the ish l'halacha, an ish l'Kabbalah, an ish l'halacha. My, what's the din? Pashma, ha'omer, hiskabel gets zela ishti, hoylech gets zela ishti. In Ratzalach Yachsar, Isha Shomai Skabel Giti, in Ratzalach Yachsar. My love bechat shliach, right? Is not speaking the same shliach. In other words, it's speaking about the same person. And so you see a woman can make a man, Ushmamina Kasha, the Kabbalah, Kasha Loilacha. So Loi, Vishnei Shluchim. It could be two separate shluchim. Maybe the man, woman. Tashma, Lefikach, Im Amalei Abal, Yevshi Shet Eskabala Ela Hoylech V'tein La, Im Ratzalach Yachsar. Over here, it's one shliach. Guys, what happened? He just turned the shliach of the woman into a shliach halacha. So let's say whoever it was, right? He turned it into his favor, correct? So shmamina kosh lekabala kosh lelacha. Good. That's a good shmaka. That would only prove what? A man making a halacha. Pashimina ish havish shliach lekabala, right? Shekain av mekabel get lebitoi. I would say what? An av can mekabel get for his daughter, right? So we find that katana isha leilacha tiboy lachmai, but isha leilacha. In other words, the case in the Mishnah, you can't be punished to that because he's making the switch. So what's it then? Amar Mari Tashma. Afanoshim shein ne'emanos lema meis ba'ila. Guys, in Yavamis, remember, and then later on, there's certain women that hate a woman, a mother-in-law, the daughter of mother-in-law, a tzara, a stepdaughter. So they're not believed to come and say your husband's dead, right? We said they would be believed to bring a get. What do you see? They can be shul halacha. We had the story in Masechta. Tashma afanosh m'shein ne'emanos lema meis ba'ila ne'emanos levi eskita. I have a husband malachi. So Rashi miseifa nami. Okay, so go have a good raya. Rashi says miseifa nami shmami. No, the Gitin seifa, the seifa of ha'isha atzma mevi eskita. A woman can bring her own get. Rashi tzrich leima fani nechta nechtam. Ukimna b'haylacha. So you see that what that woman is believed to bring her own get. Shliach lechalacha. So if you push the shaila that this ability to go ahead and mix and match in shlichus is acceptable. Have a good evening.